On the 18th of February, the President said, "My position has not changed. I have stated it often, even before I took office as President, that there are many questions about ICC's jurisdiction and that we Philippines regard as an intrusion into our internal matters and a threat to our sovereignty." Does the DFA agree with this statement?
Very easy question to answer.
Well, as I speak right now, the Philippines is not a member of the ICC.
Oh my goodness. You can't even answer directly. It's a very simple question. Of course, yes, ang sagot dyan. Kasi nga, you are alter egos of the president. Kapag kinokontra nyo yung presidente, you don't have business being the alter ego of the president. That's how simple it is.
And the DFA defers to the Department of Justice as the implementing agency when it comes to cooperation on ICC matters. Madam Chair.
Yes.
The heck? There's a question? And you read your notes? People.
Referred to, may I call on Secretary Remulla, please, to clarify this issue?
We are not members of the ICC, ma'am. So, whatever relationship we have with the ICC is on an arm's length basis if we have to talk to them. But we have never spoken to them. We have never...
Very irrelevant answers. Napakasimple ng tanong, do you agree with this statement of the President?
Secretary, I didn't hear you. Whatever relationship we have...
It's on an arm's length basis, meaning very transparent if ever. But we have never spoken to them.
Paano ka magkakaroon ng maayos na usapan kung hindi kayo marunong sumagot sa tanong? Di ba? Do you agree with this statement? Kasi nga, it is an intrusion into our internal matters and a threat to our sovereignty. Yun yung sinabi dito ni President, di ba? So ngayon, nag-agree ba kayo? We are not members of the ICC. We are not a member of the ICC. We are not a member of the ICC.
Arm's length.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have had contact even at
No,
arm's
ma'am.
length?
We do not have any contact. What we're saying is we are very transparent.
Nagbo-volunteer ka pa ng information. Hindi ka na nga relevant doon sa tanong. Nagbo-volunteer ka pa ng information. Ngayon, pag tinanong ka sa information na yon, no ma'am.
Transparent about what we do, and we have never had any contact with the ICC.
So you uphold the statement of the President saying that the ICC has no jurisdiction here in the Philippines. Is that correct?
Ma'am, jurisdiction of the ICC is throughout...
Ganito si Boying eh. Kaya hinuhuli yung anak mo sa drugs eh.
Jurisdiction here in the Philippines. Is that correct?
Sorry,
Mama.
ad hominem yun. I'm just frustrated. We have a Department of Justice Secretary and he answers like this.
Jurisdiction of the ICC is throughout the world. We belong to a community.
Saying that the ICC has no jurisdiction here.
Naniniwala ka ba na walang jurisdiction ng ICC dito sa Pilipinas? Anong sagot niya?
Is that correct?
Ma'am, jurisdiction of the ICC is throughout the world.
World peace. Para naging jurisdiction of the ICC is throughout the world. Wala nga dito sa Pilipinas. Sinabi ni Atty. Claire. Paulit-ulit din sinabi ni Bongbong Marcos yun, di ba? Pero bukod tangi ka rin eh, no? Jurisdiction is throughout the world. Saan mo nakuha yan? Saan mo nakuha yan? ICC bulok. Kadiri.
We belong to a community of nations.
Regardless
Anong relevance ng pagiging belong natin sa community of nations sa jurisdiction ng ICC, ha? These people talaga, grabe, kadiri. They just try their hard to evade the questions because they know they did something wrong. You cannot even be honest to yourselves, at least to your past selves.
Those
tied
who are
together by a legal system called international humanitarian law. It is
Sige, invento ka na lang. Nag-uusap tayo tungkol sa ICC. May sarili ngayong ICC, yung Rome Statute. Tapos papasok ka sa international humanitarian law. Are you serious? Tignan mo. Kadiri.
of the ICC is throughout the world.
Dinadaan sa confidence. Yung kalokohan niya. Sa ICC ba yung international humanitarian law? May Rome Statute sila. Uy.
We belong to a community of nations
Regardless
that
of
is
those
tied
who are
together by a legal system called international humanitarian law. It is something adopted by more than 150 countries in the world.
Okay? What does that have to do with the ICC? We are talking about jurisdiction of the ICC. Tapos ibang batas yung kukunin mo.
So therefore, we are not members of the ICC.
We are not members of the ICC since President Duterte withdrew our membership in 2018, effective 2019.
Alam mo yung parang nagre-recite ka, alam mong wala kang alam, pero bibilisan mo magsalita para kunwari meron. Pero dito may alam siya. Obviously may alam siya. Pero is trying to deceive people into believing na tama siya by being confident. That will not work to people who actually think, Secretary. Dinadaan sa confidence. Wala naman laman yung mga pinagsasabi. Ni hindi nga kayo responsive sa mga questions.
Okay. That being the position of the DILG, I assume that Secretary Remulla in the DILG also maintains the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Ito rin eh. Itong si John Vic Remulla dito nire-rescue ng kapatid niya eh. Nag-aabogado yung kapatid niya sa kanya. Wala din.
I defer to the wisdom of the Department of Justice.
And the
Of
PN.
my brother.
If that is therefore an unqualified yes, and you are in agreement with the President that the ICC has no jurisdiction whatsoever, what was the DOJ referring to as the ICC's jurisdiction in the Philippines being different from us being a member? What is the distinction, please?
Very good question. Oh.
The ICC tries people for individual crimes, not states.
Come on, tell me please. Tell me. Secretary. Dito sa reasoning mo na ito, paano mo itatry yung Republic of the Philippines as an entity na gumagawa ng krimen? Let's take murder. Nakalagay pa nga sa batas natin, and you know this, you are a lawyer, this intellectual dishonesty yung ginagawa niya. Our government is not even bound by the mistakes of its agent. So kahit pumatay presidente dyan, dahil infallible yung gobyerno natin, it is deemed as perfect. Ang makakasuhan, yung presidente, kaya katulad nung nangyari ngayon. Kung mayor yan, ang makakasuhan yung mayor, kahit nakaupo siyang mayor, o ginagawa niya yun bilang isang mayor. Except of course, may exceptions dyan, kung nag-enter siya into contract, di ba? Bumaba siya doon, pero hindi gumagawa ng krimen yung Republic of the Philippines. If you will try the Republic of the Philippines as a criminal, sino ikukulong mo? Paano mo ikukulong yung Republic of the Philippines? Sige nga! I-try natin yung Republic of the Philippines for murder. Principal, yung Republic of the Philippines for murder. Guilty siya! Ikulong yan sa dahig. Paano mo aarestuhin yung Republic of the Philippines? Secretary Remulla, Department of Justice Secretary ka. Sige nga. Paano ka kaya nagka-idea ng ganun? O para makapalusot ka lang?
ICC's jurisdiction in the Philippines being different from us being a member. What is the distinction, please?
The ICC tries people for individual crimes, not states. So the Philippines, as a state, cannot be called upon by the ICC to do something for them.
Ano? Hindi pwedeng tawagin yung ICC yung Pilipinas, tawagan ng ICC yung Pilipinas para gawin yung isang bagay sa kanila. Kasi nagtatry sila ng individuals. Wala pa akong nakitang state na nag-commit ng crime. Si Republic of the Philippines.
But when the ICC is running after individuals,
Tignan nyo, napaka-gibberish. He's not making any sense. Tignan nyo. Oh, yung umpisa niya, di ba, na sentence? Hindi man lang konektado sa second sentence niya.
ma'am, the ICC tries people for individual crimes, not states.
Of course. You cannot try states for crimes. Oh.
So the Philippines, as a state, cannot be called upon by the ICC to do something for them.
Hindi rin related. Itatagalog ko yung sinabi niya, ha? Sabi niya, ang ICC, ang kinakasuhan dyan, yung mga tao, hindi mga estado. Kaya yung ICC, hindi niya pwedeng utusan yung Pilipinas para gumawa ng isang bagay para sa kanila. What are you saying?
The ICC is running after individuals.
Oh, pero pag yung ICC may hinahabol na tao
Who are Filipino citizens.
na
then
Pilipino,
obligation becomes another kind of obligation.
yung obligasyon na yon ay naging ibang klaseng obligasyon. Ano sabi niya? Sabi niya unang-una, yung ICC, ang kinakasuhan niyan, mga tao, hindi estado, sabi niya. Tapos, yung ICC, hindi niya pwedeng utusan yung Pilipinas para gawin ang isang bagay na gusto nilang ipagawa. Pangatlo, kapag may obligasyon, ibang klaseng obligasyon na yon. Oh, goodness. Am I missing out something here?
So that therefore, the Senate ratification of the ICC at the time that it was ratified is of no weight. Regardless, you will fall under the jurisdiction of the ICC under
Well,
national.
yes, madam.
That is your belief, DOJ.
Yes, madam. When there are individuals being, when there are individuals being,
Alam mo, hindi niya talaga alam yung sa tingin ko, hindi niya rin maintindihan yung sarili niya eh. Parang iniisip niya, ano bang sinabi ko? Hindi, basta manggulo lang ako. I just have to make sense of the last one. Ano bang sinabi ko? Individuals. Yun lang naman ang may sense doon eh. Kasi yung ICC naman talaga, individuals yung trinatry niya eh. Kaya doon siya magte-take off. Oh. Nagsasalita pa yung isa, magsasalita na siya. Oh.
when there are individuals being, when there are individuals being asked by the ICC to explain, it is another matter. As
Ano ibig sabihin na there are individuals asked by ICC to explain? Sino yung individuals na yun? Ano yun? Sila yung nagkaso, yung kinasuhan. Ganyang kalabo ang mga kabatas natin, itong mga taong ito. Sinong individuals na yun? You cannot even make sense of what he's saying.
Fall under the ICC, under the generic rubric of international humanitarian law. So it doesn't matter whether you sign or do not sign.
Yes,
Whether you
ma'am.
ratify
It
or
doesn't
not
matter, ma'am.
ratify.
It doesn't
Makes no
matter.
difference.
It does matter. It does matter. Nandiyan dyan, oh, nakaiwan pa dito. Oh. What we in the Philippines regard as an intrusion into our internal matters and a threat to our sovereignty. You're dishonest. That's what it is.
Your Honor, it is not the Philippines that is under the jurisdiction. It is the individuals who are charged by the ICC, which is under the
Pag pumapasok ka sa isang treaty, yung mga individuals ba ang pumapasok sa treaty? O yung mga bansa? Boying! Ang isang treaty ba ay usapan ng mga bansa o usapan ng mga individual?
the Philippines that is under the jurisdiction. It is the individuals who are charged by the ICC, which is under the jurisdiction. There is a distinction, ma'am.
Of course not. Your distinction is wrong. Treaties are between states, not between individuals. Eh, bakit yung state ang sumasali doon? Kasi ang nagbibigay ng jurisdiction yung state. Pag pumipirma siya ng treaty, boying naman eh. Paano magkakaroon ng jurisdiction over the individuals kung hindi bibigyan ng state? Hindi naman pwedeng pumirma yung individual. Kailangan recognize ka bilang state bago ka pumasok sa isang treaty eh. Ano ka, pipirma ka doon bilang Digong Duterte? Sa agreement among states. Ano ka, sarili mong tao ka, state ka.
Please explain.
As non-members of the ICC, and as a state, the
No.
ICC has no jurisdiction over us as a country.
Oh.
But over the individuals who may have committed crimes that violate international humanitarian law. That is a universal value being held by the whole world today. That
Gumagawa ng sariling ito. International law. Universal law. My goodness. So, ibig mong sabihin, kahit hindi pumirma yung Estado, doon sa treaty, yung ICC may jurisdiction. Hindi sa bansa, pero sa individual. Paano mangyayari yun? International law ang usapan. This is an agreement between the states.
that people cannot cross borders and hide behind boundaries so that they can run away from the law. International humanitarian law is something adopted. The principles are adopted by more than 150 countries throughout the world, Your Honor.
Di ba? Bumalik na naman. You're such... You don't make any sense at all. ICC yung usapan, tapos pumunta na naman dyan sa international humanitarian law.
Are you of the position, therefore, that international humanitarian law, as you said, is customary law? Is that the consideration?
It is already customary law now. As we speak, it has become customary law throughout the world.
You cannot say that. You cannot speak in behalf of the world. Who gave you? Who gave you the authority to speak in behalf of the world? Department of Justice Secretary ka lang ng Pilipinas. Nag-iimbento ka lang.
Are you aware that procedural and admin matters do not form part of customary law? Surely, the Secretary is well aware that procedural and administrative matters will still have to comply with the laws of the land.
Of course, Madam, it goes
Puro confidence eh. Of course.
without saying.
It goes without saying, puro confidence. Wala kang ang sinasabing matino.
The DFA, the DOJ, the DILG, and the PNP has already admitted that we are not members of the Philippines is not a member of the ICC. Therefore, why did we surrender a Filipino citizen before the ICC?
Mr. Senator, we surrendered an individual to the ICC. We did not surrender as a country, but he was surrendered due to...
Paano ka surrender yung country sa ICC? Ano kakasuhan nung ICC yung country natin ng murder?
Since procedural and administrative matters do not fall under customary law, ICC processes, therefore, are not part and parcel.
Yes, the correct answer is yes. Nag-yes ka na kanina. Huwag mo na namang i-contradict yung sarili mo.
Madam Chair, the distinction of the ICC...
Sabi ko sa'yo eh. Grabe din, no? The dishonesty here is over 900,000. It's a very simple question. You answered it already. Kanina.
Madam Chair, the distinction of the ICC process of issuing a warrant of arrest is something accepted through a treaty, the International Police Organization.
You have just contradicted yourself, sir. You said it was customary, and now you're saying it's by treaty.
Oh my goodness. Alam nyo, na-frustrate lang ako kasi Department of Justice Secretary yan. Even you can't understand yourself, ha? Why, ha?
But we can be very technical about it if you wish to be. But the fact is, it is our accession to the Interpol which made all of this.
Sabi niya, wag na tayong maging technical. Kino-contradict mo yung sarili mo. That's not even technical.
Is possible.
We will go to the Interpol later. Let us discuss the ICC at this juncture. So, while I will go with you for the sake of argument that the IHL, or International Humanitarian Law, has now become accepted as part of international customary law, I am unable to accept that ICC processes and administrative procedures as well are now part of customary law. I don't think so.
The processes are not part of customary law. We have our
Ayawan tayo. Magaling na naman siya. Tingnan natin, naalimpungatan yata kanina. Baka ngayon, magaling na siya.
Of customary law. I don't think so.
The processes are not part of customary law. We have our own administrative processes. If you ask me about this, Madam, we can say that the IHL is the domestic law that we followed in recognizing the warrant for arrest.
Kasi sabi lang kanina na wag natin pag-usapan ng IHL, doon muna tayo sa ICC. Tapos, pumunta na. Lahat ng statements yan, napansin nyo ba mula kanina, nag-e-end sa IHL? Kasi sabi lang nung, ni imee, let's not talk about international humanitarian law. Let's talk about that later. Let's not talk about Interpol. Puro IHL. Puro IHL. Let's not talk about Interpol. ICC muna. Puro IHL ang default niya.
Against Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Which domestic law and process did
Republic Act 9851, Your Honor.
as mentioned previously?
Yes, as mentioned previously, and within the provisions, allows us two options. Either extradition
Sunog ka na naman dyan.
or surrender. We chose the executive mode, which is surrender.
We will go to that later, but
Go to that later nga kasi kanina pa siya sabi na ICC muna tayo, wag muna Interpol, wag muna IHL. ICC muna tayo. Ikaw puro ICC ka na, puro international humanitarian law ka ng international humanitarian law. Nakakaintindi ka pa talaga o hindi? Try mo kaya. Try to argue in good faith. Wag puro yabang, wag puro confidence.
We recognize is the jurisdiction of the ICC over individuals who may have violated international humanitarian law.
Nag-iimbento na lang siya talaga. Sige.
By committing murder and other heinous crimes.
ICC pa rin yun. Kung hindi natin nire-recognize yung ICC, yung jurisdiction niya over our country, di ba? Bakit siya magkakaroon ng jurisdiction over our individuals? Over our people, kung wala pala dito sa country natin. Di ba? Ganun yun. Wala siyang jurisdiction sa bansa natin, pero may jurisdiction siya sa tao.
well, you said that while the ICC has no jurisdiction,
Napakalinaw nung sinabi niya. Yung pinag-uusapan dito ay yung specific crimes na ginawa ni dating Pangulong Duterte. Ni Duterte.
over the Philippines as a state, it maintains jurisdiction over individuals and crimes under
Yes,
the
ma'am.
international humanitarian order.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. What the president said is that there is no jurisdiction over the crimes committed by the former president.
Well,
Because we have a functioning police and judiciary system. Unless you submit that we don't.
submit that we don't what, ma'am?
That we don't have a functioning police force.
We have a functioning
or
police
a
force.
judiciary.
We have a judiciary. But what we are dealing with here
You're
is crimes
contradicting your
committed
president,
14 years
Secretary.
ago.
O ano relevance nun kung crimes committed 14 years ago? Jurisdiction ang usapan.
What we are dealing with here
You're
is crimes
contradicting your
committed
president,
14 years
Secretary.
ago to 2019. We're talking about a timeline, Your Honor, that we were not even here yet. And that it
Jurisdiction ang usapan. Tapos pupunta ka doon sa time. We were not even here yet. Boying! Magsabi ka na lang kasi ng totoo.
it was very hard
Ano?
yet. And that it was very hard
Tapos nag-end siya sa very hard. Ano? Oh.
10 years ago to 2019. We're talking about a timeline, Your Honor, that we were not even here yet, and that it was very hard.
Buhay natin ha, buhay natin.
That we don't have a functioning police
ah,
force.
Liga,
We have a
liga.
functioning police force.
Judiciary.
We have a judiciary. But what we are
And sa
dealing with here
confidence.
You're
is crimes
contradicting your
committed
president,
14 years
Secretary.
ago to 2019. We're talking about a timeline, Your Honor, that we were not even here yet, and that it was very hard. We made our
No, the
commitments.
president made it very clear.
We made our commitments to the United Nations that we would investigate all of these crimes.
He's not really, he's just saying things. Nagsasabi lang siya talaga ng mga bagay-bagay. And it's very hard. Oh my goodness.
During the drug war. And it was not a very easy task, ma'am. Because the people that we expect to be cooperating with us were not. So, although we're still doing our investigations on the EJ case, on the extrajudicial killings committed during that time.
Yes, I'm.
Niyada mo kasi sa confidence. So, nag-i-investigate ka. Pwede naman pala. Pero it's very hard. Kaya ibibigay mo na lang sa iba. Trabaho ka pa dyan. Bigay mo na lang sa iba. Maybe someone else, not you, can do a better job.
Not reviewing the drug war. This is a Foreign Relations Committee hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
But in this statement, the president clearly means jurisdiction over individuals.
Correct! He's not talking about jurisdictions over states in criminal cases because that's absurd.
It's very, very clear. There's no area for quibbling. And if you say there's jurisdiction over individuals, I don't believe that you are in agreement with your president. As a matter of fact, the ICC does not try countries, after all. They do try.
Correct. The ICC does not try countries. Why are you talking about countries? Sipin mo, kakasuhan ng criminal case yung country. Ano yun? Inutusan ng bansa na pumatay yung tao?
Our views evolved during times, at times.
Ito na. Our views evolve during times.
Don't
So you
know
do admit
if he
that you-
still has the same view up to today, because we are talking about a clip which was done 1.5 years ago.
Oh, kasi nga, ganyan siya mahilig eh. Naisip niya, ay, oo nga, nakalusot ako doon yung sinabi ko na 14 years ago ito. Ngayon, sasabihin ko 1.5 years ago. Pero in-explain ko na yan kanina. Diba? Hindi nagbago yung batas. Hindi nagbago yung facts surrounding the case. Hindi nagbago yung mga circumstances. Tapos, hindi nagbago yung mga persons involved. Walang nagbago. And you were asked about legal opinions. Bakit nagbago yung sayo? Obviously, nagbago yung sayo dahil sa political persecution na ginawa nyo. Kung hindi nyo ba ginawa kay Duterte yan, sa tingin nyo ba magbabago yung opinion nyo? Or, according to your own words,
View up to today, at times. And
Is after all. They do try.
our views evolved during times.
ganun lang kasimple. Kung hindi nyo ginawa yan kay Duterte, yung sinasabi nilang state-sanctioned kidnapping na nakalibre ng delivery, yung The Hague at Interpol, yung ICC at Interpol, magbabago ba yung views nyo? Of course not. Bakit nagbago yung views nyo? Because you are justifying a wrong that you've done. Tama? Tama. Gumawa kayo ng mali. Kaya binabago nyo yung inyong views. Tanggalin mo yung ginawa nyong kalokohan na yon. You will remain true to the law. You did that. That's why you're trying to save your face.
Minds can change, ma'am. We cannot just...
Yeah. Your minds can change. Correct. But we are talking about the law here. We are not talking about the minds. Ang nakasulat dyan, jurisdiction. When you speak of jurisdiction, you speak of the law. When you speak of the judiciary, you speak of the law. Now you are excusing yourself from doing something that is wrong by saying that you have a change of mind. How crazy is that? Change of mind. I-repeal niyo muna yung batas. Hindi kayo yung magbabago ng batas. Yung Department of Justice, para maging competent judicial authority yan, baguhin niyo muna yung batas. Huwag yung kayo-kayo lang. Kayo-kayo lang yung nagbabago ng batas ayon sa change of point of view nyo. Parang awa nyo na.
Just stay in one rut and say that this is the
Stay
absolute...
in one rut! We're talking about the law. If the law is unchanged, that is still the law.
Because our minds may change, and we are allowed that by the law of man and the law of God.
Yes, of
Law
course.
of man and law of God. But how do we change laws? Generic shit ka na lang eh.
Of course, we all change our minds, and Mr. Secretary. So you are saying
That's
that the
some
president
kind of
changed his mind.
generic shit,
Well,
man.
I cannot speak for him, madam. I cannot speak for him. Your conclusions are really your own, and I cannot adopt your conclusions.
You can speak for him because you are his alter ego. That's your job. Speaking in behalf of the president based on the alter ego doctrine. You know that.
They are not my conclusions. It's a bold statement, which really...
Where your statements of belief are your own, ma'am.
Wala! Ano sinasabi ni Boying dito?
It's a bold statement, which really...
Where your statements of belief are your own, ma'am.
Statements of belief. Ito lang ang pinag-uusapan nakalagay dyan, Boying naman. My goodness.
Cannot adapt to your statements of belief, but I will respect them.
Grabe, no? You are really in bad faith, Boying. And somehow disrespectful here. Because hindi mo na nga sinasagot yung tanong, nagkakaroon ka pa ng insinuations doon sa nagtatanong sa'yo. Kasi mas matapang ka.
The statement of the president is very, very clear.
Tinatawanan ka na lang, This is very disrespectful kasi pinapalabas mo na parang nagkakaroon ng impresyon na dahil mayabang ka, tapos you're making insinuations doon sa kausap mo, wala na lang siya magawa kundi tumawa.
Cut. I would like to show also a letter in December of 2023. Do we have it on hand? Can you enlarge it so that it's much clearer?
This is a good letter.
Okay. On screen is a letter dated 15 December 2023 addressed to Vice President Sara Duterte, where the President says that the jurisdiction of the ICC over the Republic after the effectivity of its withdrawal is very much in question, and I'm certain that all the members will echo my views on the matter. Would you like to comment? Anyone would like to comment on the said letter?
Sino nagsulat nito? Tignan nyo kung sino nagsulat kasi,
Would you like to comment? Anyone would like to comment on the said letter? Is it correct that if this was in fact a work in progress, as stated by Secretary Remulla, as of 15 December 2023, all the secretaries and undersecretaries are already holding such positions?
Tignan nyo, legal or otherwise, because this is a legal concern.
2019.
2019.
Yes, ma'am.
So, pati yung residual jurisdiction na sinasabi po ninyo, hanggang 2019 na lang.
Diba? Dito pa lang, wala ka ng kwenta dun sa mga sinabi mo kanina. Sinasabi mo kanina, never nagkaroon ng jurisdiction. At sinasabi mo, meron pa rin jurisdiction ngayon because of the international humanitarian law. Wala ka na eh.
Ma'am,
So,
yun
wala-
po sabi ng Korte Suprema.
Tama.
Oh.
So, ngayon wala na. Maski residual jurisdiction, wala na rin.
Wala na po, wala na po.
Kasi 1 year lang eh.
Pero tandaan po natin, ma'am, na ang ICC sa buong mundo ay tinitingnan ang ginagawa ng mga individual na marahil ay nakakapanakit sa kapwa nila at
Ano yung ICC na yan? God?
ang ICC sa buong mundo. Wala na po.
Kasi 1 year lang eh.
Pero tandaan po natin,
Tatandaan ko to. Secretary Boying Remulla.
na ang ICC sa buong mundo ay tinitingnan ang ginagawa ng mga individual na marahil ay nakakapanakit sa kapwa nila at gumagawa po ng pag-violate ng mga karapatan ng mga tao. Yun po yung tinitingnan po ng ICC rito eh. Kaya ho, hindi po yan ang ating tinitingnan eh. Ang tinitingnan po natin talaga